Jury selection will be underway in Steve Bannon's trial. Former President Trump's White House strategist faces contempt charges for refusing to testify or provide documents to the January 6th committee. So Scott MacFarlane is at the U.S. District Court in Washington with more on what to expect.
24 hours before the U.S. Capitol attack, Steve Bannon issued a warning.
All hell is going to break loose tomorrow.
Shortly after it was formed, the House January 6th Select Committee subpoenaed Bannon to answer questions and provide documents to reveal what he knew. Bannon has refused and will face a jury this week charged with 2 counts of criminal contempt of Congress, facing a maximum 1 year in prison for each. Bannon has repeatedly blasted the committee.
This is going to be the misdemeanor from hell.
Until just days before trial, when Bannon offered to finally sit down and speak. The committee says they'd have to negotiate the terms. The panel, which has spoken to more than 1,000 total witnesses, supports the prosecution, but is still keeping a door open to Bannon.
Is he still of value to you?
I would say definitely. He is someone who has much insight into the call to action for the day of January 6th. He was a mouthpiece for this Stop the Steal messaging and really, I think, had close contact with many of the people involved.
Meanwhile, the committee is preparing for its next public hearing, Thursday in prime time, focusing on what it calls dereliction of duty by former President Trump during the riot. It'll be led in part by Illinois Republican Adam Kinzinger, who previewed the hearing on Face the Nation.
The president didn't do very much, but gleefully watched television.
He said the committee is still deliberating whether to seek an interview with the former president.
I wouldn't put it past him to even lie under oath. So I'm not sure what the value is there.
Well, CBS congressional correspondent Scott MacFarlane is joining me now from just outside the courthouse with more on all of this. So question number 1. If Bannon speaks with the January 6th committee, which is what he says he's willing to do, will that have an impact on his criminal case?
It's possible, Anne-Marie. The Justice Department has responded to this offer from Bannon, saying it's not genuine and that he's trying to soften the ground ahead of this trial, which begins today. The judge left the door open, but just cracked a little bit, saying it's possible Bannon can enter that into evidence, his 11th hour offer, but only as part of a defense that he didn't think the deadline on that subpoena, that October 2021 deadline, was firm and that it was negotiable. The judge is undecided. We'll probably find out today or tomorrow whether that line of defense can be entered.
Jury selection in the case begins today. Is there any chance of complications with that? I mean, this is a very public figure, very outspoken figure. A lot of people know where he stands on pretty much everything.
And that's what Steve Bannon's saying, Anne-Marie. He's saying that because of the publicity of these January 6th public hearings and because of the publicity that surrounds Steve Bannon seemingly everywhere, that they can't find an unbiased jury here in the District of Columbia. They say that the hearings have been inflammatory and agents of bias. The judge had a lot more confidence in the jury pool here in the District of Columbia, saying they'll be able to find 14 jurors, 12 to sit, 2 alternates. If there's any complication with that today, that they would consider delaying the trial until October. But the judge in the Justice Department are pretty emphatic. The jury can be found and will be found, likely by the end of the day today.
So last week we learned about these sort of text messages that it was alleged had been deleted. The Secret Service has now been subpoenaed to share the texts regarding the attack on the Capitol. The January 6th committee is going to be having a hearing this week. What could the committee gain from getting their hands on those text messages?
Now, the committee says they don't just want to have those messages, they need to have those messages. They're from 2 of the most impactful days in recent memory for the U.S. Secret Service. January 5th, 2021 and January 6th, 2021. Committee members say, 2 committee members say, it's, quote, crazy that the Secret Service wouldn't have backed up the data before resetting those phones and deleting the text messages. The Inspector General for the Department of Homeland Security met with members of the January 6th committee on Friday to talk about the deletion of those messages by the Secret Service. The committee members expect them to be reproduced and then handed over by the end of the day tomorrow, but it's possible there's a meeting of the minds and a handover today.
Really? Very fascinating stuff, Scott. Thank you very much.